Have you ever been told you look younger than your age? Most of us smile when we hear that. Some even take it as the biggest compliment of the day. But let me ask you, what if I told you that looking younger than your age has very little to do with your face and everything to do with your heart? I've met people in their 70s who carry a sparkle brighter than a 25-year-old. And I've seen young people who seem tired of life before it's even begun. So I began to wonder, what really makes someone young? Body, message building. You see, youth isn't something that fades with time, it fades with attitude. When you stop being curious, when you stop learning, when you stop caring, that's when you start aging, no matter what the calendar says. But those who keep finding new dreams to chase, new ways to help, new things to learn, they stay young no matter what number follows their name. And perhaps that's what people really mean when they say, you look younger than your age. They're not admiring your face, they're admiring your energy, your kindness, your simplicity, your calmness in chaos. These are the things that make a person glow from within. Deeper reflection. I believe youth is not a phase of life. It's a reflection of purpose. A person with purpose never grows old because their heart is always looking forward to something. They have gratitude instead of complaint, humility instead of pride, and hope instead of fear. That's what keeps them alive, not in years, but in spirit. Conclusion, the lasting impact. So the next time someone tells you you look younger than your age, don't just smile, understand what they're truly saying. They're saying you've lived with grace, you've kept your mind curious, your heart kind, and your soul peaceful. And that, my friends, is the real secret of eternal youth. Have you ever noticed how a simple compliment like you look younger than your age can instantly make someone smile? It's almost magical. Those words have the power to lift a person's spirit, to make them stand taller, to bring back a sense of pride and energy that perhaps they hadn't felt in a while. But if we stop for a moment and think, why do we value this phrase so much? Why does it make us feel proud, even when we know that age is just a number? The truth is, it's not only about how we look, but what those words truly mean. Behind that compliment, there lies a deeper message about how we live, how we think, and how we carry ourselves through life. When someone tells you that you look younger than your age, they are not just observing your appearance, they are sensing your energy, your attitude, and the light in your eyes. It means there's something about you that feels alive, something that doesn't fade with time. It might be the way you laugh, the way you talk, or the calmness with which you handle life's challenges. It might be the way you find joy in simple things, the way you stay hopeful even when life gets hard. That spark, that light, that is what people really see. In a world where everyone is racing against time, where we are constantly reminded of how quickly the years pass, staying young in spirit becomes a quiet victory. Every wrinkle tells a story, every year adds wisdom, yet some people manage to carry all of that with grace and still shine as though life has just begun. They look younger because they live lighter. They don't allow bitterness, regret, or negativity to weigh down their faces or hearts. Their smile comes from peace, not perfection. Their glow comes from gratitude, not glamour. I once met a woman in her late 60s who worked at a small community center. Every morning she would greet everyone with warmth, ask how they were, and help anyone who needed her. She was always smiling, her eyes full of life. When I learned her age, I couldn't believe it. She looked at least 20 years younger. Curious, I asked her the secret. She laughed softly and said, I don't chase youth, I just chase happiness. That simple answer stayed with me because it wasn't creams, diets, or tricks that kept her young. It was her way of living. She had chosen to be kind, to stay curious, and to keep finding reasons to smile. That choice made her ageless. When we are young, we think time is everything. We want to hold on to it, to stop it somehow. But growing older doesn't mean growing dull. In fact, some people only truly begin to live once they've seen more of life. They learn to stop comparing, to stop complaining, to appreciate the smallest blessings, and in doing so, they unlock a kind of inner youth that no mirror can show. Looking younger than your age then becomes less about how you look and more about how you live. There is also a quiet wisdom in that compliment. It reminds us that age should never be a boundary. Too often people say, I'm too old to start something new, or that time has passed for me. But those who remain youthful in heart never think like that. They believe there's always something more to do, something more to learn, someone more to help. They look forward instead of backward, and that forward-looking energy reflects in their faces, in their walk, in their very presence. Have you ever noticed how people who complain less and laugh more seem to glow differently? That's not coincidence. Our emotions write themselves onto our faces. Stress, anger, and resentment can age us faster than time ever could. But gratitude, kindness, and joy, they refresh us from within. The heart and the face are connected in ways science can't fully explain. That's why a calm, content heart will always make a person appear younger. So when someone says you look younger than your age, don't take it only as a comment on your skin or your smile. Take it as recognition that you've been living right, that you've learned to forgive, to stay curious, to appreciate the moment instead of fighting it, that your spirit is still alive and your dreams haven't dimmed. It means you've chosen peace over pressure, purpose over pretense. And maybe that's why this simple phrase touches us so deeply, because deep down we all wish to live in a way that time cannot take away from us. Looking younger than your age isn't about defying nature. It's about embracing it with grace. It's about living so beautifully, so fully that years may pass, but your light never fades. So the next time you hear those words, smile, but also pause for a moment. Reflect on the life you've built, the person you've become, because those words mean you have not only aged, you have grown. And that growth, filled with kindness, wisdom, and love, is what keeps your soul forever young. When people talk about youth, they often think about smooth skin, shiny hair, and an energetic walk. But if you've lived long enough, you begin to realize that true youth isn't something that can be captured in a photograph. It's something that shines from within, a kind of light that doesn't fade even when the years begin to show on your face. Looking younger than your age is never only about outer beauty. It's a reflection of how alive your mind and spirit still are. It's the difference between growing older and growing old. One happens naturally. The other happens when we stop living with passion and curiosity. The outer appearance might fade, but the inner youth, that spark of curiosity, kindness, and wonder, can stay with you forever if you nurture it. Think about a child for a moment. Children are endlessly curious. They want to know how everything works. They laugh easily, forgive quickly, and find joy in the smallest things. Somewhere along the way, as we grow older, we trade that childlike curiosity for stress, pride, and fear of judgment. We stop asking questions because we think we already know the answers. We stop laughing as freely because we're too busy being serious. We start measuring our worth by age, status, or possessions, and slowly, without realizing it, the light inside us starts to fade. But there are some people who refuse to let that light go out. They keep that inner spark alive. They might have wrinkles on their faces, but there's still a youthful energy in their voices. Their laughter is sincere, their minds are open, and their hearts remain soft. That is the kind of youth that no clock can steal. You can recognize such people the moment you meet them. They don't chase trends, they chase truth. They are not afraid to learn from those younger than them, nor do they let their age become a wall between them and new experiences. There's a beautiful balance between inner and outer youth. The outer one fades no matter how much you fight it, but the inner one can keep your outer appearance glowing naturally. A peaceful mind reflects on the face, and a kind heart reflects in the eyes. When you live with compassion, when you choose to forgive rather than hold grudges, when you wake up with curiosity instead of complaints, your face shows it. That is why people who are at peace often look younger than their age. It is not makeup or diet, it is the absence of bitterness. Many of us live in a time where looking young has become an obsession. We see advertisements, products, and promises of eternal youth everywhere. But what those things cannot sell is the one thing that truly makes a person appear young: a lively mind, the joy of learning something new, the courage to dream even after failing, the humility to listen, and the desire to grow. These are the qualities that keep your spirit fresh. When your mind is young, your body follows. I remember once meeting an elderly teacher who had been teaching for over 40 years. His students adored him because every day he would walk into the classroom with the same enthusiasm as if it were his first day. When someone asked him how he managed to stay so energetic, he said, "Every time I teach, I also learn something new. The day I stop learning, I will become old." That statement held a deep truth. The more we learn, the more alive we feel. Learning keeps us connected to the present, to change and to growth. And that connection keeps us youthful. Inner youth is also deeply tied to kindness. When you treat others with respect, when you share your wisdom without pride, and when you forgive easily, you release the heavy emotions that age your heart. Anger, envy, and resentment are like invisible weights. They make us tired, bitter, and older than our years. But kindness lifts those weights. It makes the heart light. And that lightness reflects on your face and in your voice. A kind person may age, but they never grow old. There's also something powerful about staying curious. The moment you stop being curious about life, you stop truly living. Curiosity keeps the mind sharp and flexible. It opens doors to creativity and joy. It makes you see beauty even in ordinary things. A curious person finds wonder in small details. A sunrise, a conversation, a simple idea. That sense of wonder keeps the spirit young. On the other hand, those who believe they've seen everything begin to carry a heaviness that shows on their faces. They lose the glow that curiosity brings. So what does it really mean to look younger than your age? It means that your inner world is still blooming. It means your heart still dances with dreams. Your mind still hungers for new knowledge. And your soul still finds reasons to smile. You may have lived many years, but your spirit hasn't slowed down. You haven't allowed the weight of disappointments or failures to harden you. Instead, you've chosen to keep your heart soft, your thoughts clear, and your intentions pure. True youth is a reflection of peace and passion combined. It's the calmness to accept what you cannot change and the courage to keep moving forward anyway. It's knowing that every day is a chance to learn something new, to love a little deeper, and to be thankful for what you have. Outer youth may depend on time, but inner youth depends on choice. You can choose to stay young by staying open, kind, curious, and grateful. So, when someone says you look younger than your age, understand that they're not just seeing your face, they're feeling your energy. They see in you a spirit that refuses to dim, a mind that keeps learning, and a heart that keeps loving. That is the real beauty of inner youth. It never fades, and it never lies. There is something deeply powerful about living with purpose. It is the invisible force that keeps people moving forward even when life becomes difficult. Purpose gives direction to our days and meaning to our struggles. It is the reason some people, even in their later years, wake up each morning with energy in their step and light in their eyes. It's not because their lives are easier, but because their hearts are still engaged with something that matters to them. When you see someone who looks younger than their age, there's a good chance that person is living a life driven by purpose. Purpose keeps the spirit alive. And when the spirit is alive, it reflects on the face and in the way one carries themselves. Having a sense of purpose means that you wake up each morning knowing that your presence matters. You might not be doing something grand or famous, but what you do has meaning. It could be caring for your family, helping your community, creating something beautiful, or simply spreading kindness wherever you go. Purpose is not about success, it's about significance. It's about knowing that what you do, no matter how small, makes a difference in the world. People who live with that awareness tend to carry a natural glow, a youthful energy that cannot be created by cosmetics or luxury. It comes from the inside, from a heart that feels useful and fulfilled. Think about people who retire from their work but never retire from life. Some of them start teaching, others volunteer, some take up art or gardening, and some mentor the younger generation. These people stay engaged, they keep giving, and in doing so, they stay young. They don't see aging as an end, but as an opportunity to serve in new ways. Their faces might show lines, but those lines are softened by joy and contentment. That is the gift of purpose. It gives you something to look forward to, something that fuels you. Purpose acts like an engine for the soul. When it is strong, it keeps you running smoothly, no matter how many years pass. Without purpose, people begin to slow down inside, even if they appear active on the outside. You might have noticed that. Those who complain often about how life is boring or meaningless seem to age faster. It's not because of time, it's because of emptiness. When the heart has no reason to wake up with excitement, life begins to feel heavy. But those who live with purpose wake up with gratitude. They don't count their years, they count their opportunities, and that outlook keeps them fresh, both mentally and emotionally. Purpose also gives people resilience. A purposeful person doesn't crumble easily when life throws challenges their way. Instead, they learn from every setback and move forward stronger. That resilience keeps their mind active and their emotions balanced. Stress and worry are among the biggest causes of aging. They drain energy and dull the face, but purpose helps transform stress into strength. It gives you a reason to endure, a reason to grow, and that mental strength often shows in the form of calm confidence, which is another mark of youthful energy. There's another beautiful thing about purpose. It connects you to others. When your purpose involves helping, teaching, or uplifting people, your life becomes surrounded by positive energy. Relationships formed through purpose are genuine and nourishing. They keep loneliness away, which is one of the silent aging factors in modern life. A heart that feels connected and valued remains light. When people are surrounded by love and meaning, they don't just live longer, they live better. Their eyes stay bright because they are filled with compassion, and compassion never gets old. Sometimes people think they need to find a big, world-changing purpose to feel fulfilled. But that's not true. Purpose can be found in small, everyday actions. The way you care for your loved ones, the way you treat strangers, the way you keep learning and improving yourself. Every act that brings goodness to the world adds to your sense of meaning. Even a smile given to someone who's struggling can be a purpose for that moment. The important thing is that you stay engaged in life, that you keep giving your time and energy to something beyond yourself. That's what keeps your soul young. When purpose fills your heart, fear loses its power. You stop worrying about growing older because your focus shifts from what you've lost to what you can still give. You realize that your value doesn't decrease with age. It deepens. Each passing year adds more understanding, more patience, and more strength. And those who live with that realization begin to glow with quiet confidence. They radiate the peace of someone who knows they are doing what they were meant to do. That peace is visible. It's what people notice when they say, "You look younger than your age." Purpose also protects your mind. It keeps your thoughts active and your imagination alive. A person with purpose is always thinking, planning, creating, or helping. They don't let their minds rust with boredom or regret. They stay engaged with life, reading, writing, exploring, or simply being curious. And when the mind is active, it keeps the whole body alive. Science might call it stimulation, but in simpler terms, it's the art of staying awake to life. So, what does all this mean for us? It means that if we want to stay youthful, not just in body but in spirit, we must find our purpose and hold on to it dearly. We must find what gives us meaning and let it guide our days. We must keep our hearts open, our minds curious, and our hands ready to serve. Because purpose doesn't just extend life, it deepens it. And those who live deeply, who live with passion and meaning, never really grow old. When someone says you look younger than your age, they may not realize it, but they're acknowledging your purpose. They're seeing the fire that still burns within you, the dreams that haven't dimmed, the goodness that still wants to give. That's what it means to live with purpose, to stay forever young, not in appearance, but in soul. There is something timeless about kindness and simplicity. These two qualities don't just make a person admirable, they make a person ageless. When people say someone looks younger than their age, they often don't realize that what they're noticing is not the absence of wrinkles, but the presence of peace. A kind heart and a simple spirit have a quiet power. They soften the harshness of life, bring calm to the mind, and create a gentle glow that no beauty product can ever match. It's as if kindness and simplicity form a natural shield against the wear and tear of time. Kindness has a way of keeping the heart light. When you live kindly, when you choose forgiveness over anger, compassion over judgment, and generosity over greed, you let go of emotional burdens that age the spirit. Many people grow old not because of years, but because of bitterness. They hold on to grudges, regrets, and disappointments, allowing them to build walls around their hearts. But a kind person doesn't carry such weight. They forgive quickly, love freely, and share willingly. That freedom reflects in their eyes and in their smile. Their faces radiate warmth because their hearts are free of heaviness. Simplicity, too, has its own magic. In a world obsessed with more possessions, more recognition, more perfection, a simple life feels almost revolutionary. Simplicity doesn't mean living with less. It means living with peace. It means valuing what truly matters: love, honesty, time, and relationships. People who live simply are not trapped in endless competition. They don't exhaust themselves trying to prove their worth. That absence of constant tension gives them calmness, and calmness makes them glow. Stress is one of the fastest ways to age a person, but simplicity is the antidote. A simple life gives space to breathe, to think, to rest, and in that rest the spirit rejuvenates. When you meet someone who embodies both kindness and simplicity, you feel it instantly. There's a softness in the way they speak, a gentleness in their tone, and a patience in their actions. They never rush to impress or to argue. They listen more than they talk, and they give more than they take. Such people might not have flawless faces, but their presence makes you feel safe and inspired. Their kindness draws you in, and their simplicity makes you trust them. That inner beauty becomes their outer beauty. It's what people really mean when they say, "You look younger than your age." Kindness and simplicity also reduce one of the biggest enemies of youth, worry. A person who complicates life with unnecessary desires or negative emotions constantly battles anxiety. But when you learn to be kind and simple, you start seeing the good in others and in yourself. You stop overthinking, stop comparing, stop competing. You begin to appreciate small blessings. Gratitude replaces greed. Peace replaces pressure. And peace, more than anything else, keeps the body and mind young. You can see it in the relaxed face of a person who is content with who they are and what they have. Let's think about how kindness works physically. When you help someone, when you forgive someone, when you show compassion, your heart actually releases positive energy. You feel good inside. That feeling reduces stress hormones, relaxes your muscles, and softens your expression. The same is true for simplicity. When your life isn't cluttered with endless demands, your mind has room to breathe. That clarity reflects outwardly in your posture, in your tone, in the way you look at the world. It's no wonder that kind and simple people often appear younger. Their hearts are not carrying unnecessary weight. Many of the world's most respected elders share a common trait. They are gentle. Even after facing challenges, they speak kindly, they smile easily, they don't brag, and they don't judge. That gentleness gives them an almost childlike aura. They may have silver hair, but their eyes still shine with youth. They've learned that true strength lies in softness. Harshness may command power for a while, but it also hardens the spirit, and a hardened spirit ages quickly. Gentleness, on the other hand, keeps the soul supple and alive. Simplicity also gives you the power to live authentically. When you live simply, you don't have to pretend to be someone you're not. You don't waste energy keeping up appearances or chasing approval. That honesty saves emotional energy. People who live truthfully age gracefully because they are not constantly wearing masks. They accept themselves, flaws and all. Acceptance is a peaceful state, and peace shows on the face. It gives the kind of glow that can't be created with any cream or camera filter. Kindness connects us to others, and simplicity connects us to ourselves. Together, they create balance, a harmony that makes life more meaningful. A kind and simple person walks through life without resentment, without envy. They celebrate others' success and take their own failures with humility. That humility keeps the ego quiet. And when the ego quiets down, the heart opens up. Open-hearted people attract positive energy, and that energy shows in the way they look, talk, and move. Imagine a person who greets everyone with a smile, helps without being asked, and never speaks ill of anyone. You'd likely describe them as radiant, wouldn't you? That's the radiance of inner beauty. The kind that outlasts time. It's the radiance of someone who has chosen love over pride and simplicity over pretense. And when people say you look younger than your age, they're not just noticing that radiance. They're feeling it, so perhaps the secret to staying young isn't hidden in any secret formula or lifestyle trend. Perhaps it's much simpler. Be kind, live simply, and let go of what doesn't matter. The more you do that, the lighter your soul becomes. And when the soul is light, the years can pass, but they cannot leave their mark. Kindness keeps your heart fresh, and simplicity keeps your mind clear. Together, they create a life that is beautiful, peaceful, and forever young. When someone tells you that you look younger than your age, it's easy to take it as a compliment about your appearance, your skin, your smile, or your style. But the real meaning goes far beyond the surface. It's not about how few wrinkles you have or how fit you look. It's about what you radiate from within. It's about the peace in your heart, the joy in your spirit, and the balance you've built through years of living with gratitude and purpose. The real meaning of looking younger than your age is that your soul has remained light, unburdened by resentment, and full of hope. It means you have learned the art of living gracefully, and grace, unlike beauty, never fades. True youthfulness is a reflection of the inner world. When your heart is peaceful, it shows on your face. When your mind is clear, it softens your expression. And when your spirit is full of gratitude, it adds a glow that no one can quite explain. That glow isn't something that can be bought or borrowed. It comes from within. It's built quietly over years of kindness, forgiveness, and acceptance. The people who seem to age slowly are not those who avoid challenges, but those who face them with calm courage. They've learned not to fight life, but to flow with it. They've learned to smile at small joys and forgive big hurts. That inner balance creates outer beauty. Looking younger than your age also means that you have not allowed life to harden you. Every person faces pain, disappointment, and loss, but some choose to grow bitter, while others grow wiser. The ones who stay young are those who don't let pain close their hearts. They still believe in good people. They still find wonder in new experiences. They still dream, no matter how many times life has tested them. Their youth comes from the strength of their spirit, not the softness of their skin. They carry scars, but they wear them with pride, as symbols of growth, not grief. Gratitude plays a powerful role in this. A grateful person ages differently from someone who constantly focuses on what's missing. Gratitude changes your perspective. It makes you see what you have instead of what you lack. It brings contentment, and contentment brings peace. People who live with gratitude are not in a constant race to prove themselves. They don't waste energy comparing their lives with others. That calmness gives them a quiet confidence, and confidence has its own kind of beauty. You can see it in the way they walk, the way they speak, and the way they carry themselves. Gratitude gives them the ability to find joy even in ordinary moments, and that joy is what keeps them young. Peace is another secret behind youthful energy. A peaceful heart doesn't mean a life without problems. It means you've learned to stay steady in the middle of them. Stress, anger, and regret are like heavy stones that people carry unknowingly. Over time, those emotions show on their faces, in their tension, in their tired eyes, in their restless hearts. But a peaceful person carries no such weight. They've learned that worrying changes nothing, that forgiveness heals faster than hate, and that calmness attracts clarity. When the mind is at peace, it gives the body a chance to heal, to rest, to renew, and that renewal is what others see when they say, "You look so young." Looking younger than your age also means you have mastered the balance between acceptance and ambition. You keep striving for growth, but never at the cost of your happiness. You know how to let go of things that are beyond your control and focus on what you can improve. That balance prevents burnout. It keeps your energy steady instead of constantly drained. People who are always chasing something without stopping to breathe eventually tire their souls. But those who pursue their goals with patience and perspective keep their vitality alive. They work, they rest, they love, they forgive. And that harmony reflects on their faces. It also means that you've stayed connected to your inner child. The ability to laugh freely, to play, to be curious, and to enjoy small pleasures. These are all signs of a youthful spirit. As we grow older, we often take life too seriously. We forget to laugh at our mistakes, to dance for no reason, to dream without logic. But those who remain young at heart never lose their sense of wonder. They can still find joy in a sunset, humor in a challenge, and beauty in imperfection. That spirit keeps them fresh and radiant no matter what their age is. Another layer of this meaning lies in how you treat others. People who uplift others tend to stay emotionally strong. They create positive energy wherever they go, and that energy bounces back to them. The warmth they give becomes the light they carry. You can't fake that light. It's the natural reflection of a giving heart. When you live with compassion, you start to attract peace, and peace is what gives a face its timeless calm. So when someone tells you that you look younger than your age, don't just smile politely. Pause and understand what they're really saying. They're saying that you've lived in a way that has protected your spirit from bitterness. They're saying that you've chosen love over hate, calm over chaos, and hope over despair. They're saying that you've learned the secret of graceful living, to be thankful, to be kind, to be calm, and to stay curious. Growing older is inevitable, but growing old is a choice. You grow old when you stop learning, when you stop caring, when you stop dreaming. But if your heart stays open, if your mind stays eager, and if your soul stays gentle, no number can define your youth. That is the real meaning behind looking younger than your age. It means you have not only lived long, but lived well. You have aged with peace, purpose, and love, and that kind of beauty never fades.